Hello world! So throughout the writing and revising of this book, which is about what computers have taught me about being human, I've come around again and again to the same two concepts, which have been really helpful in helping me analyze the basics of what I'm talking about. And these two concepts are multiplanarity and metabasis. Now, aside from just being cool sounding words, which I love cool sounding words for their own sakes. Yeah. And aside from having the convenient abbreviation M&M, this pair of concepts has been seriously useful to me as I've tried to come up with a consistent worldview that, one, fits available evidence, and two, empowers me to contribute meaningfully to my own and others' well-being. Now, multiplanarity is simply the condition of being multiplanar, which in turn means just having many planes. Not those kinds. It's the observation that phenomena exist on multiple levels simultaneously, including software of the type that I work on, but also including multiple other systems, human beings, ultimately the entire universe. Each of these levels has priorities and limitations of their own internally. To go with the example of software, it means that a web application, for example, has a user interface, which the user interacts with. It has an application layer, which handles server requests, and it has a data layer, which reads and writes data for delivery to the other layers. In the case of a multicellular organism, the levels might be cell, tissue, organ, organism. Really? Again? Thank you. For a nation state, it might be family, neighborhood, township, and the nation as a whole. Now, these levels might be hierarchical, they might not, but the point is that there is never any one real or one right level to be at. Each of them exist on their own merits, in their own time, on their own scale, and each relates to each other and also to the whole. Now, in a sense, I could spend my whole life at any one of these levels. It could be all I ever care about. I could prioritize any of them at any given time, all perfectly valid. Now, I might think, how could a single cell ever be as significant as a whole organ? But the moment I think that, I have to think, well, how could a single organ ever be as significant as a whole organism, or a whole group of organisms, all the way up to the entire universe, even presuming there aren't scales to go to beyond that. But just as importantly, I have to remember that there are priorities and processes going on at the cell level that the organism and all those other levels above it depend on, even though they're not focused on them. Metabasis is my word for the corresponding phenomenon of shifting focus from one level to another of the same thing. Now, there may be a better pre-existing term for this, but I went looking for one and I couldn't find one that meant exactly what I meant. So I'm going the route for now of coining a term. Actually, it's not really coining it, I'm borrowing it from the world of rhetoric, where it used to mean just a transition from one subject to another. Now, metabasis has a lot in common with the concept of a quantum leap, but it's not exactly the same thing. It happens, for example, when we get to the point of a connect-the-dots puzzle where we can first tell what it is that we're drawing, and our thoughts shift from lines and dots to the image itself. Now, you can go the other direction as well, zooming in from the image to a particular dot connection. Once I started thinking in terms of multiplanarity and metabasis, I started seeing these things everywhere. One particular example is in my line of work as a coder. If I'm debugging a problem, for example, I have to start out at the level of user experience, transition down to the level of code, fix things on that level, and then see the results back up at the outer level. But it's not just code. For example, if it's a matter of public policy, there are always going to be immediate term problems going on that need to be solved on their level, on their scale, and at the same time, the problems won't really be resolved without recourse to a metabasis that allows refocus to the level of underlying causes. So that's just a little taste of a couple of the concepts that I am developing a little bit more fully in Decodings. Thank you for watching, thank you for your comments below, and be sure to join in the conversation on Facebook, as well as decodings-book.com. Appreciate you watching. Thanks. Bye.